Welcome back everyone to another episodes on the stock review. Today we are going back to the stock review series, and today we'll be looking at the Applied Digital Corporations. The ticker name is APLD. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So over here we can observe the stocks is actually performing quite well and is currently in a uptrend. However, we slightly to see a downward flag showing a sign of bearish. But if we look into the 1 week, the price action of this company is actually very volatile in terms of previous movement during the year of 2021. So it actually spikes up, which is right now on the current highs, and then just go back down to almost zero or $1. And then if you were to buy over here with a lot of guts, you have earned almost 2000%, which is 20 times and reaching the $20 level. The performance based on the stock price reaction is actually quite good, and they might also have potential to buy. But before we make the final decisions, let us go look at the financial fundamentals as well as how their mode works, as well as what does the company do. So in terms of revenue for Applied Digital, it actually is in a form of increasing, and also it actually showing that the sign of strength in terms of great sales, great product selling, whereby they will be able to generate from what they are. Whereas for the net income, it's slightly in the opposite of the revenue, whereby despite the revenue is in a terms of growing, they didn't actually earn much from what they sell or what they provide, and also currently is in a accumulation of losses based on the value of their net incomes in negative form, as well as downtrend position. From the value of the net income, which is negative form, we can also assume that the Applied Digital is also having negative cash flow, as also in the states of accumulation losses. So right now we'll be looking at what does Applied Digital actually do. So based on this, it actually builds on and operates large scale of digital infrastructure, mainly data centers, optimized for high performance computing and crypto related workload. So you can actually see from the price movement, which is quite volatile during the year of 2021, it actually reminds me of the chart patterns that is quite similar to the Bitcoin itself. However, that is also what they are related to, so they might have some relation in between the chart as well as the price reacted. So it is actually providing power intensive data centers infrastructure for crypto mining and increasingly for high performance computing customers. So their stream of income, the first one is going to be the data center hosting, the AI ready facility, the leasing space, power and cooling to the customer running AI, as well as the high power computational workloads. The second part, which is going to be the crypto infrastructures, Bitcoin mining, as well as depends on the fluctuation of the Bitcoin price, as well as the network difficulties. Third is going to be their network and the space and infrastructure they provided. They monetizing access to low cost power, long-term contracts, as well as specialized facilities such as specifically for Bitcoin mining, as well as for their data center hosting for AI, cloud, as well as HPC workloads. So the strength of this company first is going to be strategic positioning in AI and HPC infrastructures, because AI requires a lot of energy as well as space for data centers to store the training data, the testing data, as well as their weights and parameters. So it requires a lot of energy as well as cooling, which Applied Digital is able to provide. And second is going to be access to the low cost power, whereby they have the long-term contracts, which actually be able to give them the opportunity to obtain low cost power, and which is going to be very critical as a supplier for them to their businesses of crypto mining as well as AI data centers. Third is going to be optionality leverage, so they benefit from multiple tailwind, Bitcoin bull runs, as well as AI compute demand. So the weakness is going to be highly volatile earnings. So revenue actually swings based on the price of the Bitcoin, which is what they do, and not stable and very low predictable, cash flow business, as we observe from their negative cash flow as well as negative net income. Capital intensive, meaning that they require a lot of upfront capex for their data centers, and high risk if customers' demand are low and so on. Third is going to be execution risk in AI pivot, whereby they have to competing with established hyperscale data centers, as well as delay in signing. So over here, the small summary about Applied Digital is that it's not a defensive stock. It's a very high risk stock due to the fact it's actually buying with the fluctuation of price with Bitcoins, whereby Bitcoin somewhat is, some people actually hate it as an asset, but some actually love it. But based on my view, crypto is something that does not provide any value yet. People do use them as trading or as currency to buy things, but not often being seen, not often being used as the currency from the banks or like US dollar and so on. But maybe in the future, crypto can be one of the leverage tool whereby when they need a mortgage for a house, they can actually use crypto as their safety tokens, or in order to provide leverage to borrow mortgage to buy house, cars, and so on. And based on the situation of Applied Digital, although it does provide services in terms of AI infrastructure, in terms of data centers, which is the current major trends within these few years or perhaps in the next 10 years, it still face issue whereby they have very high competitions with other data centers or AI providers such as Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, which, and also including Alibaba, which already well established and authorized, and also very well known in terms of their brand as well as reputation. So from the margin itself, the profit margin is actually in the form of negative due to the negative net income. And from the balance sheets, let us look at the debt as well as the assets. So the current assets, total current assets is sitting at 641, whereby the total current liabilities is at almost 1,000. So it does not be able to cover up the current liabilities with their current situations. And also for their net cash is sitting in the form of negative, whereby they have more debts than their cash. As for the ratio, we'll be looking at the PB, whereby the price is actually in a medium range, signifying is in a region whereby it is already in the discounted form. And then for the debt to equity ratio is at 0.63. It's lesser than 1 but greater than 0.5, still acceptable. But the current ratio and quick ratio is also below 1, which can be a concern whereby they won't be able to settle immediately of their current liabilities and so on. And for the ROE and ROIC is also both in the negative form. However, the situation is starting to gradually become better, but we'll see if they start to become positive in the year coming soon. Finally, we'll be looking at the economic mode score for Applied Digital. And over here, Guru Focus, the mode score given is 3 out of 10. No meaningful economic mode and weak advantages. So the mode scoring and rating provided by the AI itself is staying at the point of 2 to 3, which also signifying a very weak mode for this company. So based on the observation analysis on the financial status as well as looking at what they did and the economic mode score, is that this company is actually in the current state whereby they don't have profits, they have poor cash flows, and however, the price of this company is just going up and just does not meet the situation of the current company, whereby the price is more likely to be driven by potential buyers because of their potential futures of success as well as great businesses. However, what I observe right now is that the current situation is they don't actually profit from what they are doing right now, and they also face issue whereby they have more debts than their cash, as well as great competition in terms of their AI and cloud data center services provided. And also, one of the deal breaker is going to be the business that it deals with in terms of crypto mining. For example, Bitcoin, which can highly affected by the fluctuation of the price of the Bitcoin. And also, in terms of Bitcoin, I do invest in them, but in a very small portion of amount, whereby I do think that crypto is something that does not provide value. However, it's worth the investment. It does not worth the risk of putting larger allocation of funds of capital to invest in crypto itself. So as long as this company is very fixed in terms of crypto mining or fixed with the price of the Bitcoin, if the company performance is based on the price of the other assets, this company will most likely be highly affected. Despite Bitcoin increase in price and has a lot of profits, Applied Digital will profit from it, but not in a same margin or same percentage as the growth or as the movement of the Bitcoin itself. So this company for me is actually a no in terms of long-term investment, especially due to the fact that they have low ROIE, ROIC, poor financial status, they does not earn any profits, poor cash flow, and so on, especially with its weak mode status. And I guess that is all for today's stock review. If you're interested in Applied Digital, do your research and due diligence before you invest any money into the stock market, and do your homework, get yourself educated before any decision making. So I guess that is all for this stock review. It's a very decent company which the price action is quite attracting, especially in terms of trading. You can actually catch very short profits. You can actually catch huge profit within a short times. However, in terms of long-term investment, it's just not a way or not a company that you would want to put inside your portfolio and hold long term, because it will going to be a pain in the ass for a very long time if somewhat this company business model does not make sense anymore, or the fluctuation of the price of the Bitcoin starts to become higher and go lower, and then it's just have a lot of competition in terms of greater companies like Azure, Google, Amazon, as well as Microsoft. So I guess that is all for today's video on the APLD. So not a very good option in terms of long-term investment. And I hope this video helps. If you like it, click a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.